keep this hockey club alive. 629-1050 the number. Here's Lacroix on the face-off against Kent Nilsson. The Arrows have a 4-0 lead. Second period is underway. Dave Dunn on right wing in his own zone for the Jets. Clears at the center for Kent Nilsson. It comes to Schuberg. Clears it down into the Houston zone. The Arrows break it up, and here's Andre Lacroix on left wing. Dropping it back to Don Laraway. Left wing pass to Al McLeod. McLeod in center ice. Still with that puck. Into the Jet zone. In on goal. A shot. Daly the save. He gloves it and holds on. Joe Daly. It's going to take him a little while to get situated and settled back in that Winnipeg goal. He was out for quite a while.
Al McLeod has good ability to move either way, to his left or to his right, and very quickly. He's got a very deceptive shift out there, and even though he is not maybe the fastest rushing defenseman in the league, he is still very effective.
From the face-off.
Watch that. I'll hear from Al McLeod now. You're questioning my speed? What's going on?
From the face-off.
I know, you'll tell him. I hardly got into the dressing room there about 2 weeks ago, and Don Laro was saying, "What do you mean you thought I was?"
I had to ask him if he shot or if he passed. And I said, "You want to bet for me?"
He won't talk to me now because.
Oh, he'll talk to you.
Not very nicely.
Wakely, well, had a good first period, an excellent first period. Makes a save here, and now the Arrows start out as Dinelli was pulled down by Dave Crisco. Jets have it in their own zone. Here's Dave Dunn. Dunn in his own zone. Checked by Andre Lacroix. The puck comes to Lars-Erik Schuberg down left wing. Schuberg stopping now, trying to get away from Lacroix. Andre Lacroix forechecking the Winnipeg Jets. Now the Jets clear it down into the Houston zone, and Laraway shoots the puck down the ice. Going back to get it. Schuberg, no icing on the play as they ruled he could have played it on the way by. Schuberg for the Jets on right wing to Big Dave Dunn. He's checked by John Dinelli, who lost it now to Kent Nilsson down right wing to Anders Hedberg. Into the Houston zone. Hedberg moving in deep along the end boards. Bumped by Al McLeod with a heavy hit. And here's John Dinelli for the Arrows. Dinelli starting out away from one man. Lost the puck. Shella has it for Houston. In his own zone around on the end boards for Al McLeod on the left side. Lead pass for John Dinelli in center ice. Catches up with it. Dinelli moving in against Kim Claxon. Drop pass down to Lacroix. Lacroix centers it in front. Laraway couldn't get to it. Laraway checked in the corner by Claxon. It comes back to the point as Claxon and Laraway drop the sticks and gloves, and here's Laraway in a fight with Kim Claxon. Laraway throwing left hands. Claxon throwing lefts and rights, and now Claxon lands a right hand. Laraway trying to throw him to the ice, and now Claxon getting that left hand loose. Kim Claxon and Don Laraway in a scrap, and they both threw punches. A draw on this one thus far. Now Laraway trying to shake her loose from the linesman there separated. Don Laraway and Kim Claxon. And I'll tell you, Mr. Laraway did a pretty good job against Kim Claxon. That's the first time we saw Claxon fight. We've heard a lot about him. No hard damaging blows landed in that fight as they kept hitting each other on the side of the head, on the back of the head from close range. Couldn't get any power behind those punches.
Well, it was more of a wrestling match at the early going, but of course Claxon has been trying to stir it up the last couple of games these two clubs have played, and he's willing to get in there, and Don Laraway answered the call on that one. He got a good lock on him, but they were so tight together, Jerry, any of their blows were more to the side or the back of the head. Both of them holding on very tightly with the hand that they were not throwing punches with, and eventually the officials were able to get in there and tie things up. Tough when they're that close for the officials to get in between them. The old sandwich play. You look at the players on this Winnipeg club that have been effective against the Arrows this year. Bobby Hall, of course, 8 goals and 3 assists. Alf Nielsen, 4 goals and 8 assists. And Kent Nilsson, the young rookie, with 4 goals and 4 assists. And Guindon, Bobby Guindon has scored, I think, some big points or set up some big ones. He's only got a couple of goals, but 4 assists.
What's that telephone number again for the Arrows season tickets?
629-1050.
629-1050. Give it a call. Keep this hockey club alive. Here's Paul Popio for the Arrows, winding up in his own zone on right wing. Out of John Hughes. Hughes, long lead pass for Ruskowski, knocked away by Ted Green, and Hughes comes up with the puck in center ice. Now the Arrows clear it in for Lukowicz, who hopefully is NHL bound with the Houston Arrows next season.
You know,
like that little signal. It's offside.
I'll tell you, one of the slogans, and Harrison had referred to, you know, that they're going to make the public well aware of their situation, Jerry. And one of the slogans that they came up with was, "It's sudden death. Why don't you give the Arrows an assist?" And I think that's pretty appropriate.
Arrows are leading 4-0 here in the second period. Neither team playing a man chart due to the coincidental major penalties to Claxon and Laraway. Here is John Hughes in his own zone, checked by Gaindon. Hughes winds up on the end boards for the Arrows, trying to clear it. Hits Lukowich in the back with the puck. Now Bobby Hull in after it. He takes a check along the boards by Terry Ruskowski, and play is called. Face-off will be at the top of the circle to the left of goaltender Ernie Wakely. He's been razor sharp here tonight.
Remember, this is the second last game. The Arrows will finish their season next Sunday, this coming Sunday evening in Winnipeg. That'll be their 80th game of the season, regular season play. And this is the 10th meeting between these two teams this year.
Here's Paul Popiel in his own zone as Ruskowski and Ulf Nilsson push and shove, and now Lukowich barges into Ulf Nilsson. Here's John Hughes with that puck. On left wing to Lukowich. It's knocked away by Green. Ruskowski breaks it up out for Lukowich. He hands it away in center ice to Barry Long, however. And Long drops it off for Bobby Hull. Now to Ulf Nilsson. Nilsson in front of his own goal to Bobby Hull. Now to Barry Long. Terry Ruskowski after him. The Jets really rattled right now as the Arrows are playing pretty physical here in the second period. Here's Ruskowski in center ice, stealing it from Ted Green. Into that Winnipeg zone. Ruskowski trying to get around Barry Long. Can't. They go to the corner. Ruskowski belts Long. Gets that puck to Lukowich. Trying to make a play. Morris Lukowich still with that puck. Still with that puck. On the slot now to Ron Hansis. He's knocked flying by Gaindon, and there's going to be a penalty to the Winnipeg Jets. Delayed penalty coming up here against Winnipeg. Arrows give it away to Gaindon now in that Houston zone, and Gaindon is going to be called for interference at 3:26 of the second period. And the Arrows lead 4-0 will once again have the man advantage.
Jerry, a reminder that the Arrows not in action out there tonight. Cam Connor, he's out for, I would say, 3 more weeks with that hand of his. But the one thing about it, he's skating a lot, so he's going to be ready. As soon as the hand's ready, he'll be able to play. Rich Preston probably for another 5 weeks or so. And then Paul Tarabenci, the doctor took a look at Paul today, said, hey, you got yourself another week or so, and that you'll be ready for the playoffs. And going to get him a mask that will cover his face. Of course, he broke that cheekbone, something to give him a little added protection.
So the Arrows will go to the power play at 3:26 of the second period. Gaindon called for interference. The Arrows have Lacroix, Tonelli, and Lukowich with Ruskowski and Campbell as the point men. Powis and Crisco, the penalty-killing forwards. Schuberg and Dunn on defense. The Arrows get the draw to Scott Campbell in that Houston zone. In the near corner to Terry Ruskowski. Now Ruskowski for the Arrows, starting out on right wing, checked by Dave Crisco. Pushes it ahead for Andre Lacroix. Here's Lacroix in on right wing for Ruskowski. It's tipped away. Lukowich moves it into that Winnipeg zone. Lost the puck, and they call it on a offside as Ruskowski was in ahead of the play.
Well, we've taken a look at some of the Winnipeg players that have been effective this year in this series. Morris Lukowich for the Arrows. Cam Connor, of course, has been effective. But Don Laraway, who has snapped one here tonight, 3 goals and 4 assists on the season coming into this game against Winnipeg.
Now the Jets clear it down the ice into the Houston zone. The Arrows power play has Ruskowski starting the puck up to his own blue line. Now in center ice, the Houston captain. Here's Ruskowski in on left wing to John Tonelli, tipped away by Dave Crisco, and Lacroix drops it back to Terry Ruskowski. Now Ruskowski to Lacroix, bumped on the play by Crisco. The Arrows lose it now to Powis. Powis dumps it in to the Houston zone for Crisco, taken away by John Tonelli, and here come the Arrows. Tonelli leaves it for Terry Ruskowski. 1:10 left in that Winnipeg penalty. Down left wing, here comes Andre Lacroix, away from Crisco. Lacroix in center ice, still with that puck. Twisting and turning into that Jet zone. Lacroix, leading scorer on the Arrows. Flips it in front for Tonelli, deflects it, just wide of the Winnipeg goal. And here's Dunn trying to clear it. He's tied up by Tonelli. Now Tonelli belted by Dunn in the corner. Here's Lukowich after the puck. It's cleared away by Powis, but not out. Held in by Campbell at the right point, into the far corner for Andre Lacroix. He looks for the open man. Andre Lacroix in that corner for Lukowich. Back at the right point for Scott Campbell, holding it in. Campbell for the Arrows to Andre Lacroix. Searches for the open man. Now to Lukowich. Lukowich at the right point. Campbell cutting in. A shot fired wide on the far side. Left point Ruskowski holding it in. Near boards Tonelli. Right point Campbell. Left point Ruskowski. Over along the far boards Lukowich. Right point Campbell to Lukowich on those far boards. Lukowich still with that puck. Lukowich still with that puck. A shot tipped over the top of the Winnipeg goal. And here's Tonelli. Left point to Terry Ruskowski. Ruskowski for the Arrows. Moving into the slot. In on goal. Ruskowski centers it. Lukowich shoots. Dealey the save. Rebound knocked away by Dunn as Lacroix just missed. And Dunn is belted by Lukowich. Going to be a penalty against the Arrows. Morris Lukowich. As he high stick Dave Dunn. The Arrows get the puck and Lukowich gets a penalty here for high sticking. And from the summit, this is Houston Arrows hockey.
sticking. Simon McCauley, 5:28. Repeating, Lukowicz, 2 minutes for high sticking at 5:28.
These Arrows broadcasts are going to be turning into a radiothon.
We hope so.
629-10-0. 10-0. 629-1050, I'm sorry.
Give the Arrows an assist.
Into the NHL.
Right.
Arrows short-handed. Morris Lukowicz goes off here for high sticking. Each team a man short. Now the Jets player comes back on, gained on, so the Jets have the man advantage. Lukowicz went off at 5:28 for high sticking. Now Hedberg down right wing into the Houston zone. The Arrows lead 4-0. At the right point, Kent Nilsson, a shot. Oh, and he fired it wide. Rebound in front. Hedberg missed it. The Arrows clear it down the ice. And the Jets go back again. They have the extra man, Kent Nilsson. Moving to center, the Jets have scored 75 power play goals. Jets clear it into the Houston zone. Taylor breaks it up. Here's Shella. On right wing to Ruskowski, back in his own zone to Al McLeod. The Moose just clears it down the length of the ice. The Jets go back to get it. 1:10 left in that penalty to the Arrows. Morris Lukowicz. 4-0 lead for Houston in center ice. Here's Wolf Nilsson giving it away to Ted Taylor. Taylor down right wing into that Jet zone. Taylor in deep trying to make a play. Lost it to Barry Long. He sets it up now for Wolf Nilsson on that Jets power play unit. Wolf Nilsson moving through center into that Houston zone. Stops now to make a play. Wolf Nilsson still with that puck at the right point to Kent Nilsson. Moving into the slot. In on goal. Centers it. Hedberg couldn't get a shot. In the far corner, Anders Hedberg centers it for Hull. A shot, he fired it just wide on the far side, and now Shella tried to clear it. Off the glove of Taylor, down the ice it goes. And there are 31 seconds remaining in that penalty to the Arrows. Morris Lukowicz. Now on right wing, here comes Anders Hedberg. Moving through center. Stopped by Al McLeod, pulled down in center ice. Play goes on. Here comes John Tonelli with Shella. The Arrows a man short. Tonelli moving in around Barry Long. Long went back to check him. Now Tonelli with that puck trying to center it. Wolf Nilsson breaks it up. Tonelli steals it again. He's bumped by Nilsson and Hull along the boards, and play is called as that puck is held as now Tonelli and Nilsson do a little pushing along the boards, and the linesmen get there right away. What do you think, Jack? Laraway and Claxton are back on. They skate by one another, and I thought something was going to develop again. Laraway looked at Claxton, but nothing came of it. Jack, what do you think about the two Swedes who have signed those contracts with the New York Rangers? Any difference in their play that you can tell?
Well, it's hard for them. I would think it'd be hard for them not to lose some enthusiasm. They've made a major decision. It's got to weigh on their mind. And the incentive or the difficulty of not looking ahead to next year and what's going to happen to them, and also I think just the business of getting themselves organized to make the move is going to interfere with their concentration. I don't know. I mean, maybe it's me, but I don't really feel they're playing as well as they have in the past. Do you?
I agree with you. I think they may be a little more chippy. They're carrying their sticks a little higher, and of course, guys are going to be shooting at the two. Here's Lacroix in front. Tonelli, a shot blocked, rebound. Tonelli to Lacroix, shooting, blocked by Daly. Rebound, they score. Andre Lacroix would not be denied. He finally banged it in behind Daly to give the Arrows a 5-0 lead. Andre Lacroix, his second goal of the night.
Well, he just has a touch, doesn't he? From the side of that net. And you got to give John Tonelli a little nod there as he kept working on the play to get that puck loose. He was a little frustrated that he didn't score on it earlier, and he gave Lacroix the chance on the second one. It worked its way by Daly, and a couple of pucks have done that here tonight. But the Arrows are still pressing and putting the pressure on, and that's a big goal. 5-0 effort, and they're still only halfway through this game, or not quite.
Maybe we can check across the way and see if we can get a score from that Edmonton-Quebec game in Quebec City.
4-0 at the end of 2, and that's for Quebec.
Oh, that doesn't help.
That makes this game even more important to the Arrows here, as they need a couple of games to put themselves out of reach. Starting tonight's game, they were 3 points ahead, and Quebec had 3 games left on the regular season. So if the Arrows and Quebec were both to win tonight, it would only require one win by the Arrows to solidify that number 3 spot.
Andre Lacroix tonight, 2 goals and an assist, his 3 points. 102 points on the season for Andre Lacroix. Here's John Hughes for the Arrows.
I don't think Rusty's going to make it through the game, do you?
John Hughes to Steve West. I don't think so.
Gets a little sun, and he's got a tan and feels good, and then all of a sudden he's a play-by-play.
Here's Taylor after Green in that Houston zone. It comes now to John Hughes. He's bumped by Lindstrom. Here's Taylor after the puck. It's cleared to center.
He's a spotter now. He's got the phone going.
Arrows ice the puck back to touch of Davis.
Yeah.
Houston called for icing.
You know how in football the guy's up there on top watching the whole game and he's got the phone going and he's got the hotline down to the...
Yes.
I think that's what Rusty feels like
He's our producer. He's becoming Cecil B. de Stonefeld tonight. You're going to get an Academy Award. It was last night, Rusty. I voted for you, but I didn't pick it up. At the right point, Green, a shot in that Houston zone wide of the target. And the Arrows clear it to center ice. Here's John Gray dumping it into the Winnipeg zone. Taylor racing in against Ted Green. Taylor overskates the puck, and Lindstrom picks it up for the Jets. Drops it off on the end boards to defenseman Bill Davis. Now Davis for the Jets to Lindstrom in center ice. Lost it to Teddy Taylor. Taylor clears it down the ice into the Jets zone. Going back to get it for Winnipeg is Bill Davis clearing it to center ice. The Arrows shoot it ahead for John Gray. Gray lost it. Now Davis moves in against John Hughes. Davis with that puck hooked off the puck. Play goes right on. Arrows take it away, and here's John Hughes losing it to Sullivan in front for Lasuk. Shooting. Wakely the save, covers up on the rebound, and play is called. And from the summit, this is Houston Arrows hockey. 629-1050. That's the Arrows season ticket hotline to keep this hockey club alive and get it into the NHL. Hopefully get it into the NHL. Those are my words and nobody else's.
Give us a little assist here, and that's 629-1050.
I'm not trying to take credit to say if you buy tickets, you'll get the Arrows into the NHL, but I sure think you go a long way towards helping them. They have to sell, 7,000 season tickets in 30 days.
One thing you know for sure, if you're not a season ticket holder to the NHL, you're going to get your money back, and I think that's a pretty fair arrangement, wouldn't you?
I don't think you can ask any more from that.
Oh, we got a little note from Mike Hope. We just mentioned it, Mike, here a couple of times. We're bumping that hotline, and you know, they're
tickets are going well down there?
People in the lobbies signing up, and I think we got people really coming out of the woodwork here. Really, we've known there have been a lot of fans in Houston that haven't maybe been season ticket holders, but it's nice to see them.
Here's John Tonelli in on left wing, a shot that goes wide. The rebound comes off for Dave Crisco in that Jet zone at the end boards. Laraway in against Schuberg. They tie it up. Three players jam up. It comes loose for Tonelli looking, and now Dunn takes it away to Dave Crisco on left wing. Now it goes outside of the Jet zone. Here's Scott Campbell to Andre Lacroix on right wing. Arrows leading 5-0. In for John Tonelli. On right wing to Laraway. Moving in on goal. A shot. Daly the stop. Rebound. Laraway centers it. It winds up back of the net now and held for a face-off, and play is called. And Mike, again, briefly, can you give the fans the idea on this ticket plan? What has to be done in the next 30 days?
Mr. Snitzer has asked for a show from the Houston community that they want National Hockey League action here. What he's asking for is a mere 10% down payment to confirm a seat, and we need 7,000 season tickets sold in the next 30 days. All the money for the protection of the fans is being put in Texas Commerce Bank in an escrow account, which will stay there until we see if we get the franchise or not. If we don't, all the money will be refunded back to the customers with interest. So all I have to do is call 629-1050. That's 629-1050. And we have some salesmen available to help.
Did you realize that $10.50 is the price of our highest ticket? How about that?
No, I didn't. We lucked out on that one.
Yeah.
The response has been overwhelming so far. The phones have lit up. We have people 30 deep. We had 3 lines of 30 deep in one of the season seat tables between periods. And we just want to thank everyone that has supported us so far and really help us get into the NHL for that.
Nice kickoff. It's a good way to start it.
Mike, you will be keeping, and the Arrows will be keeping the fans up to date as to how the progress is going through the 30 days, right?
Right. We will have daily reports coming out through the various media, including KTRH, and we will have barometers based on the height of a hockey stick that will be in front of the summit and also run in the ads every few days. So we'll certainly keep right on top of it for all the fans. And we'd like to thank everyone for their support of the Houston Arrows.
Arrows have come up big tonight, haven't they?
I think the Arrows are right behind it. Winning is what makes it all about. Thanks, you guys.
All right, thank you, Mike Hope. Arrows, a shot from the left point by Paul Popeil, and Daly makes the stop and holds on and play his call. This is kind of exciting, isn't it?
I'll tell you, we're already starting, so we got 30 days. Maybe we can get it accomplished in less than 30, Jerry, and just keep going, because I know in our response in our broadcast, we have always felt that there is a nucleus that's larger than we've had them down here, and something that's bothered us some. But I think it's nice to see the initial response here, and hope we keep it going. 6-9-10-50, and the Arrows here starting to even get the Jets a little more off balance as this game goes along, because they're dominating it out there.
Again, the Arrows are called for an offside at the Jets line. Again, let us thank those who have called already, who have responded and bought season tickets. And to those of you out there waiting, let's not wait too long. We only have 30 days to keep this hockey club alive. 629-1050 is the telephone number. If you want to stop by the Arrows office and see the season ticket people here, they'll be more than happy to talk to you.
Show you exact seat that you'd want to purchase and put you in the one that you'd like.
Probably even buy you a cup of coffee.
Maybe even a donut or something like that.
Here's John Hughes for the Arrows. Head manning the puck to center ice for Terry Ruskowski. Ruskowski down right wing into the Jet zone, stopping now to Morris Lukowicz. Lost the puck as he started in towards that Jets goal. It's cleared to center, and here comes Wolf Nilsson. Down right wing into the Houston zone, stomping along the near boards. Back at the left point for Barry Long, holding it into the Houston zone. Now to Bobby Hull, a shot blocked by John Hughes. Nilsson the puck now shooting. It's stopped by Wakely, and here comes Ruskowski. Out on left wing for Morris Lukowicz against Kim Claxon. Lukowicz breaking through the defense. Lost that puck now to Barry Long. And the Jets try to clear it to center ice. They do. Hull missed it, and here's Shella for the Arrows. Now to Lukowicz. It hopped over his stick. Back to get it, Kim Claxon. Claxon in his own zone. Tried to shoot it out. It hit the stick of Lukowicz. Goes up over the glass into the crowd, and play is called. Again, that phone number, 629-1050.
Looks like the Jets may have picked themselves up a penalty on that one. Too many men on the ice. I don't know. We're keeping a look, but John Shella walking into the penalty box, so that may not be true. So I think there's a combination. Call to Shella for slashing, and then to the Winnipeg player.
Wolf Nilsson for receiving.
Nilsson for receiving. You know,
not quite. Not quite. They each get minors. Shella and Wolf Nilsson slashing the call against Nilsson and against Shella. 629-1050. Let's keep this hockey club alive and get it into the NHL. There are people down in the Arrows offices waiting for your phone calls at 629-1050 to take care of those season ticket requests. Arrows get the draw to Ted Taylor. Now to Al McLeod. Down left wing, each team a man short. Houston leading 5-0. McLeod at the left point to Taylor in that Winnipeg zone. Here's West tied up on the play by Bill Davis. It comes back to the right point. Taylor holding it in for the Arrows. Lost it now to Davis, who clears it to center ice. Scott Campbell ties it up with Davis. They start the battle, and Campbell knocked Davis to the ice. The puck was held for a faceoff. And from the summit, this is Houston Arrows hockey.
I'll tell you, as this game goes along, maybe the chances of seeing Kiki out there, but he'd love to get on this ice. The only thing is, you know, with only 10 games, you're only allowed 10 games on that tryout, and Bill might want to keep, you know, Kiki active or available for as many games as possible.
Save him for the Montreal Canadiens or what?
Yeah.
Arrows leading 5-0. Puck lost in that Houston zone, but Ernie Wakely covers up for the Arrows. Got it now to Scott Campbell. Each team a man short for another 57 seconds as Shella and Ulf Nilsson are in the box for slashing. The Arrows dump it down the ice into the Jet zone. Goaltender Joe Daly steers it on the wing, but not out. Steve West holding it in. Now to Teddy Taylor at the right point for Scott Campbell. Winding up a shot that's tipped wide of the Winnipeg goal. In deep, Al McLeod after the rebound centers it in front for West. It comes to the left point for Ted Taylor. A shot wide on the far side. At the right point, Campbell holding it in for the Arrows. Shooting. That's wide on the short side. Left point, McLeod a drive. Daly a stick save. Arrows with the pressure on. Green clears it to the far corner for Bill Davis. Davis winding up in his own zone for Winnipeg. 22 seconds left in those minor penalties to Shella and Nilsson. Here's Lindstrom moving into the Houston zone. Around Al McLeod, going in deep, tries to make a play. Circles the goal, still with that puck. Lindstrom at the point. Now for Schuberg, winding up a shot. Wakely the save, juggles it. It drops behind him. He swoops it out of that goal crease and covers up on it. Play is whistled down. Ernie Wakely, if you can get him red hot, I'll tell you, my friend, Mr. Stanfield, he'd be a man to watch in the playoffs, wouldn't he?
That's what I was talking to a gentleman today, and he was talking about the Arrows having the injuries and how difficult it's going to be for them. Maybe if they have to play Quebec in the first round, and we were talking about the matchups and the lines and everything, and I said, hey, there's one little fact you're forgetting, and that is Mr. Ernie Wakely and what a key factor he can be for the Arrows in the playoffs.
Face off to the right of that Houston goal. The Arrows leading 5-0. The Arrows get the draw too. John Hughes on left wing to John Tonelli. Penalized players come back on, Shella and Nilsson. Here's Paul Popeil for the Arrows. Now to John Tonelli in center ice to Andre Lacroix. It's taken away by Crisco. He clears it all the way back into his own zone where Daly gets it to Crisco on the end boards for Dunn. It's taken by the Arrows. Lacroix tried to center it. It's knocked away by Schuberg. And here come the Winnipeg Jets. Schuberg moving to center. Long lead pass for Hedberg. Too far ahead. It rolls in on goal. Wakely covers up on the puck and play is whistled down.
Jerry, the Arrows with a home record here of 24 wins, 13 losses, and 2 ties. This is the second to last home game. The remaining home game will be coming up this Saturday night, and that, of course, will be a photo night in terms of a picture night where you can get picture of the Arrows players, your favorite Arrow player before the game and after the game for 15 minutes prior to the Arrows warm-up and then 15 minutes after the game. So come on by and get a little more of a closer look at the players that you enjoy to watch.
Arrows move the puck to center. The Jets bring it back in offside of that Houston line. What's our favorite phone number again? As you listen to Arrows Hockey on KTRH in Houston?
629-1050. And Mike Hope saying there's been a lot of response. Thank you to all those people that have called in. But keep those calls coming because we would like to reach that objective of 7,000 season tickets, Jerry, as soon as possible because you like to get that out of the way and keep things moving so that they can, the ownership can move ahead with their program.
In case you're just joining us, the Arrows lead the hockey game 5-0. The Arrows have to sell 7,000 season tickets in the next 30 days to have a chance to get into the NHL. Now Nilsson into that Houston zone to Hedberg on right wing. Bumped by Paul Popeil along the end boards. Taking it loose, it's Crisco now to Hedberg. At the left point to Lars-Erik Schuberg. Schuberg, the shot goes wide. Rebound picked up by Crisco. Looks to center it in front. He does for Kent Nilsson. He lost it as he went to shoot. Taken to the boards by Paul Popeil. They both go to the corner and go down. Up with it again. Nilsson at the left point for Schuberg holding it in. Here's shot. Wakely the save. A spectacular save. And John Tonelli clears it to Laraway ahead in center ice to Lacroix. Lacroix for the Arrows. Looking for the hat trick. Lost it to Hedberg. Hedberg winds up in his own zone. Almost lost it to Laraway. Now Hedberg starting out on right wing for the Winnipeg Jets. Hedberg into that Houston zone on left wing for Crisco. Going to be a penalty here against John Tonelli, who steps into Crisco. The late penalty coming up against Tonelli, and now John Hughes steps into Barry Long and plays the puck at the same time, and it's going to be a hooking penalty here against Tonto Tonelli, who got his 20th goal of the year here tonight to help the Arrows into this 5-0 lead, and Tonelli goes off for hooking at 15:38 of the second period, and the Jets, who trail 5-0, will get the man advantage. The Arrows are hopefully NHL bound, and you can help them there. I think the interesting fact, Jack, is the big hockey stick they're going to place in front of the summit out on the Southwest Freeway, where you could see the progress day by day as to how many tickets the Arrows have sold in this 30-day drive.
Well, Kidda said this afternoon at the press conference, that's something that, and somebody asked him, well, how often are you going to give us an update? And I think it sort of caught him by surprise a little bit, and it was one of those things where they just hadn't made a decision. And he says, well, and he thought a little bit, and he says, well, every other day we'll give you a little, and he's talking about newspaper advertising, we'll give you every other day. He just made the decision on the spot. So it was, but I think it is important to keep a running tab. We've only got 30 days, so let's keep everybody on top of the thing and accomplish it as soon as possible.
And the Arrows need the help from the business community and from the fans themselves. The corporations are going to have to buy a good number of tickets, but the fans themselves are going to have to respond too. And they have already.
You need that balanced support, and it's obvious that the fans are going to respond. Let's hope the business community will have as much enthusiasm as the fans have shown in the early part of it.
We have Scott Campbell pushing in front of that Winnipeg goal, as now we have more pushing and shoving, as Campbell was, I think, going after Bill Lasuk, and now Taylor and Green square off, and they jaw away at one another. Now cooler heads prevail. Bill Lasuk, a scrappy little guy. I think he could play in my hockey club. He's a competitor.
And a reminder that tomorrow night at the Joski stores, Terry Wiskowski at Post Oak, Don Laraway at Gulf Gate, Scotty Campbell at Parkdale and Beaumont, Morris Lukowicz at Westwood Mall, Rich Preston, Town and Country, and Ron Hanses at Northline. So why don't you drop by and have a little chat with some of your favorite Arrows, or if it happens to be a Joski store in your particular area.
Could find some nice Arrow shirts too, huh? Not A-E-R-O-S, A-R-R-O-W.
We were talking about that at the beginning of the campaign. Say, put an arrow in an arrow.
Not bad. Do you think of that one?
That sounds like one of mine.
That sounds like one of yours. Here's Bobby Hull on that Jets power play. 1:10 remaining in the penalty to John Tonelli. The Arrows leading 5-0 here in the second period. Thank you. The Jets move into the Houston zone. Taylor breaks it up and clears it down the ice. He was bumped on the play by Ulf Nilsson. Well, Nilsson and Taylor have a little conversation going. Going back to get it for Winnipeg in his own zone is Ted Green. The Jets on the power play. Lead pass for Bobby Hull. It goes over 2 lines offside at the center ice red line. Play whistle down. You see Ulf Nilsson pick the puck up, lift it about 8 feet in the air and catch it on the blade of his hockey stick.
Tell you what.
That's better.
I tell you what I am seeing out there, Jerry, is that the Arrows have this Winnipeg club off balance, and in fact I think more off balance than I've watched all season long. They just really have them disorganized, and they're missing on their passes, and usually they're a pretty fluid hockey team to watch and are very good in the puck control department, but they're giving that puck up.
John Schella and Karen Baird almost had a little something going, as Mr. Baird has been a thorn in the sides of the Houston Arrows this season, and Schella had a little something to say to Baird.
You think Baird remembers a check that Schella gave him a couple of years ago?
2 years back, yeah. It was the hardest body check I've ever seen anywhere. Arrows get it to Scott Campbell now from the faceoff. 45 seconds left in that Houston penalty to John Tonelli. The Arrows leading 5-0. Oh, Ted Green and Ulf Nilsson collide. They both wind up down on the ice. Going to be a penalty here to Schella as he pulls down Gaindon. Schella's going to, or is it Campbell?
Scotty Campbell getting
Campbell
one
will get it, but Schella pulled him down.
I think Gaindon just ran into Campbell on that play, but I think our attention was drawn by the fact that 2 Winnipeg players had collided. You know, I knew that circling and circling would finally end up in some kind of a collision somewhere along the line.
The air traffic controller must have been asleep.
Well, I don't know. Across the way, Larry Hillman, of course, trying to organize his troops. The Arrows well out in front, and I think with 2:55 remaining in the second period, Jerry, they've got the game well underhand. Of course, you do not want to give Winnipeg this kind of opportunity, 5-on-3 too often.
At the right point, Kent Nilsson in that Houston zone. In now for Hedberg. Hedberg at the right point for Nilsson, winding up over the left point for Bobby Hull. In now to Baird, centers it in front. Ulf Nilsson, a shot checked by Lacroix. The shot goes wide. Lacroix trying to clear it. At the right point, Kent Nilsson holding it in, a shot. Wakely the save. Rebound comes to Baird along the near boards. Left point, Bobby Hull. Hull at the right point for Kent Nilsson, closing in on goal. A shot. Wakely the save. Covers up when the puck and play is called. And listen to this crowd. You've got to be a part of this excitement and keep this hockey club alive. 629-1050, the season ticket hotline for the Arrows. NHL bound.
Give us an assist. Sudden death overtime. That may be what it is with 30 days, the time limit.
Bill Dineen instructing John Tonelli to stay out there. Why don't you do a little play-by-play here, Jack? I think somebody wants to talk to me.
Jets on the power play, moving it to the right point and working its way just about outside that blue line. The Jets off Nielsen to Bobby Hull, wind up slap shot around the boards onto the right wing to Nielsen into the slot. Over to Nielsen on the right side as he controls that puck into the corner. Bobby Hull moving in front. Nielsen back to the point. And the shot from the point blocked by John Hughes. Back to the point, the Jets control, and Andre Lacroix gets a piece of it.
Fails to clear it. It's held in by Ken Baird. Go ahead. You're doing all right.
I've been listening long enough. I think I'm picking it up.
Here are the Jets. Bobby Hull clearing it in on right wing to Anders Hedberg into that Houston zone. He stops at the right point. Kent Nilsson shoots. It's deflected. Wakely the save. He covers up on Lynn Powis' deflection. And from the summit, this is Houston Arrows hockey. We have 1:38 remaining in the second period of play. The Arrows leading the Jets 5-0. 43 seconds left in that minor penalty to Scott Campbell. Here's the puck in the Houston zone. Ruskowski bumped in the play by Lynn Powis. The Arrows get it up ahead for Larry Lund, and he shoots it down the ice for Houston. Lund heads for the bench. He's replaced by John Tonelli. Kim Claxon on that Winnipeg power play unit. Starting out straight up the middle of the ice now. Claxon lead pass for Lyle Moffat. Moffat shoots it down into the far corner in the Houston zone. Wakely sets it up for Ruskowski, stopped by Dave Crisco. Here's Powis with that puck. He's checked by John Tonelli, who's pulled down, and now Ruskowski shoots at the length of the ice as the crowd feels there should have been a penalty call against Powis. And here's Barry Long. 3 seconds left in the penalty to Campbell. Less than a minute remaining here in the second period. Barry Long with that puck. In the Houston zone, trying to make a play. Centers it. Schella deflects it in on goal. Wakely the stop, covers up on the puck, and play is called. Face-off will be in that Houston zone to the left of Ernie Wakely.
Quite a tribute to the Arrows penalty killers, Jerry, as they took that 5-on-3, then the 5-on-4 situation against one of the toughest power plays in the World Hockey Association, the Winnipeg Jets out there, and really did not allow them to get too many good opportunities, and when they did, Ernie Wakely was there.
Powis is out with Crisco and Moffat against the Arrows line of Lund, Lukowicz, and Hansis, as Bill Dineen juggles his lines due to the penalty killing here.
After tonight's game, Winnipeg will have 3 games remaining in New England, and then at Edmonton, or against home against New England, and home against Houston, and then 1 game in Edmonton.
Here's Lukowicz in with a break, a shot, and Joe Daly got a piece of that one. There's Lukowicz, tested Daly on the short side, and here's Barry Long moving to center ice for Winnipeg. Into that Houston zone on left wing for Powis, but Powis was 5 feet offside, and play is whistled to the stop.
And Jerry, then for the Arrows remaining on the season, just a weekend of games. That'll be Friday night in Birmingham. Here again Saturday night, that'll be 7:30 in the Summit. And that'll be against the Cincinnati Stingers, and they're going to be fighting for a playoff spot. And then the Winnipeg Jets on Sunday night. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Quite a flurry. And then the Arrows playoffs will start either on the Wednesday evening following, probably against Quebec, and then on Sunday, or perhaps will not start until Sunday the 16th, Jerry. That has not been decided yet, and of course will be negotiated between the 2 clubs that are participating in the first round.
Here is Barry Long for the Winnipeg Jets. 20 seconds remaining in the second period. The Arrows have a 5-goal lead. The puck cleared to center by the Jets. Moving in across the line, it's Powis. He tried to get it through to Crisco, who was checked by Lukowicz. Now the puck steered around, but held in by Kim Claxon. Claxon for the Jets on the inboards now to Crisco, centering it. Wakely breaks it up. Now Al McLeod for the Arrows trying to clear it. He does to center ice. Claxon goes back to get it at the buzzer. Second period ends as the Arrows increase their lead to 5-0 at the end of 2 periods. And the crowd again giving the Arrows a standing ovation at the end of the second period. 629-1050, the Arrows season ticket hotline. 629-1050. Give those folks a call and get yourself some Arrows season tickets for next year, and hopefully see this hockey club in the NHL. Arrows leading the Jets 5-0 at the end of 2 periods of play.
And Jerry, we're going to have a chance to speak to Johnny Egan in between the second and third period about the Round Ball Classic coming up here in the Summit.
All right, well, we hope the fans will stay tuned for that interview and our scoring recap here at the end of 2 periods. And while the fans get a moment or two, maybe they can make a phone call to 629-1050 and check out those Arrows season tickets. Arrows leading the Jets 5-0 at the end of 2 periods of play. And from the Summit, this is Houston Arrows Hockey.